This is Tres Leches, a sponge cake soaked in 3 kinds of milk. Before I start with the dry ingredients, I went ahead and preheated the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I added a cup of flour, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Now I'm going to stir up the dry ingredients. I'm going to sift the dry ingredients to remove any lumps. I'm using 5 eggs and I'm going to separate them into different bowls, one for the egg whites, and the other I'll throw in the yolk. It's important to not skip this step because you want your cake to be soft, fluffy, and absorb the liquid better. I'm adding 1/2 cup of sugar and I'm going to use a hand mixer to beat the eggs well. Now I'm adding 1/3 cup of whole milk, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and I'm going to use a little spatula to stir this up. Now I have the electric mixer on high speed and I'm beating the egg whites, and I'm going to add 1/4 cup of sugar. And I'm going to beat this till the eggs are stiff but not too dry, maybe about a minute or so. I'm going to get my bowl of dry mixture and I'm going to add the egg mixture to it, and I'm going to combine everything with a little spatula and just stir very gently. I'm going to take the egg whites mixture and now I'm going to fold it gently within the dry mixture and the egg yolk mixture. And gently combine everything. The consistency should look something like this. Once it's been sitting for a minute or two while you grease the pan, it will thicken. I'm using butter here and I just took a brush. You can also use a napkin and just kind of grease the glass pan. Just make sure every corner is greased so that the cake doesn't stick. Look at this cake batter mix. It's beautiful, it's smooth, it's clump free. This is the perfect mixture and this is how you want your consistency to look something like. Since I turned on the oven earlier, the oven is now preheated at 350 degrees Fahrenheit and I'm baking this cake for 30 minutes. You can take a little utensil or fork and poke through, and I know my cake is done because it comes out clean. Let cake cool for 15 minutes. While the cake is cooling off, I'm going to make the milk mixture by adding 9 ounces of evaporated milk, 1/4 cup of heavy whipping cream, and 6 ounces of sweetened condensed milk, and I'm going to stir this together, and this is where you get 3 kinds of milk, also called Tres Leches. Now I'm going to poke or pierce through my beautiful cake, and this will allow the milk mixture to go deep inside, and the cake will absorb each and every drop of liquid easily. So just lightly poke through the cake. Now for the fun part, I'm going to pour the milk mixture all around the cake. I want to make sure that I cover each corner, that my cake is soaked. And don't worry, I know this looks like a lot, but the cake will absorb each and every drop, trust me. I can see, and I'm sure you can as well, that the cake is absorbing the liquid very quickly. Now I'm going to pierce a little bit through the cake just so I can add a little bit more of the mixture to ensure that this cake becomes very moist. Now I'm adding more of the milk mixture, and don't worry, because I separated the egg whites from the egg yolks, this cake will not be soggy. Here's the cake absorbing each and every drop of milk mixture liquid. And now while this is sitting for about 15 minutes to absorb, I'm going to go ahead and add 1.5 cups of heavy whipping cream. And this is for the icing, a tablespoon of sugar. And I'm going to stir. So now I have my clean hand electric mixer and I'm going to be mixing this icing up. I want the icing to be frosting like, so not too thick. I want to be able to spread it all over my cake. So about a minute or 2 of mixing. It should look something like this. You can go ahead and taste it to make sure it's sweet enough. The frosting to me tastes perfect. If you prefer more sweetness, you can add another tablespoon of sugar. But I prefer it this way only because the 3 different types of milk already has sweeteners in them. And I added sugar to this recipe. So the cake is fairly sweet. I'm also adding toppings to give it a little pop of color. I'm using strawberries here. You can use different types of fruit. You can also use glazed toppings. Again, all of this already has sweetness, so there's no need for the icing to be too sweet. And there you go. I garnished it with some fresh fruit. Now for the best part, I'm going to slice a piece of this cake to see how it tastes. Before I indulge, take a good close-up look at this moist Tres Leches cake. And here it is, Tres Leches. This cake is perfect. The sweetness is just the way it should be. It's not soggy, it's not too spongy. It's fresh. I added the fresh fruit to it. That gives it a pop of color. This is so easy to make. This will be your perfect dish and recipe that everyone will be talking about. Enjoy. Follow me on Instagram at Reese's Recipes for more easy, simple, and delicious recipes. Thanks for watching, friends. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Many blessings.